HSC is very nice to foreign people. I decided I like learning things. If you're a professor, you're paid for learning things, so it was a very easy deal for me. Theoretical training helps to solve little technical problems.
The artificial intelligence, will it be smarter than people?
Interesting question is, when will it happen?
Hello, this is ChatFCS, and today we have a special guest, Associate Professor at the Department of Big Data and Information Retrieval, Bruno Bauwens. Hello.
Hello.
And my first question is, where did you study?
In Belgium, Ghent University. I did bachelor, master and PhD there.
And why did you choose this particular university?
It's close to to the place I live, and it's normal choice in Belgium. So we have like 3 good universities, also some smaller good universities. So everyone chooses the closest one and lives with the parents. It's very cheap and easy. Well, not everyone lives with the parents, but okay, half or something like lives with the parents.
So you didn't have any other variants to choose? You didn't think about it?
Yeah, so Leuven University is a little bit better, but then I would need to rent a room. My parents were not that rich, and
Well,
it was big trouble to go back and forth. And anyway, interesting things, unfortunately, are not yet in courses, so maybe it doesn't matter so much where you study.
And what first interested you in computer science?
So originally I wanted to become a physicist, so I won a Flemish physics Olympiad. I was really interested, but then okay, this is a strange story. I mean, so normally on young age, person revolts against the parent, but my parents were too strong, and so there is some fuzzy history. I didn't start a fight. I did what they want me to do, which was engineering. So so there is a huge confusion. It's a strange story. Should I explain this? Well, the problem was in high school. I had certain learning disability. I have trouble with learning languages, and so everyone assumed I was stupid. And in Belgium, there is a very prestigious engineering degree where there is a huge amount of math, very similar like applied math and informatics here. So just to shock everyone, I told I would do this engineering degree. But because I was sick, that my grades for mathematics were not important. I was judged by all other courses. And so just to shock them, I told I would do this all of the last year. But then I won the physics Olympiad, and so they stopped laughing with this choice. And I mean, so the opinion of math teachers should be important if you study something heavy in mathematics. But so somehow, no. First of all, these are very nice teachers, and there were some problems with learning languages and with my memory, but it's. That's why I like mathematics, because the memory can be compensated by doing more logic and by learning deeper principles. And in the long run, like in university, there are all these thick books. At least we have detailed lecture notes of all lectures there. So there's 10,000s of pages every semester. And if you don't understand what you're reading, there is no chance memorizing.
And did you have any other interests not related to math?
So I did a lot of music. So before that, I wanted to become a musician, accordion player, professional accordion player. So I was rehearsing a lot. But in Belgium, the most professional accordion players are homeless people. And so, again, my parents didn't like this. So they wanted me to do something with prestige.
Okay, and What led you to focus specifically on theoretical computer science and areas such as Kolmogorov complexity and the foundation of machine learning?
Okay. When I went to university, I wanted to become a physicist, and so there was an option in the engineering degree to study theoretical physics. At least this was, I believe, but the problem was that the rules were not explained clearly. And so while being a student, I was training in all this mathematical theory, so I understood I wanted to learn math. But then, what happened is that I learned string theory. So I like mathematics and I like science. But then I was heavy in string theory, which at that point to me it felt like it's neither science nor mathematics. So it's like not rigorously derived. So it's a physical theory. So there are no axioms. So they believe something if it fits a huge number of principles instead of derived from axiom. And then there are many steps, so in messy renormalization, and okay, it's just a bunch of things that made, and then I understood that there were thousands of people dreaming of big unification of so to make a final theory of physics. And then I said, okay, then the best thing is I will be one of these. If I work very hard, I might be one of the 1,000, produce one of the 1,000 candidate theories that will never be. I mean, eventually it will be. Well, okay, we don't know, but just for my life, I will produce a theory that makes a chance to. And then I decide, no, let's try to do something useful for society. And then I decide, okay, let's do machine learning, which there was some hype in machine learning when I finished studying. And so it looks like an easy way to stay in academic. So it was clear I enjoy learning things. And then I choose like a road with little resistance. So that's how I changed to applied computer science. So it turns out that my parents were right.
Mm-hmm. So you make your decisions using logic and some. You think a lot and not just, I don't know, listen to your heart.
No, for choosing. So at that moment, choosing the profession. So there is a list of things I like. There is a list of things that society needs. And so I made a compromise. Okay. So for me, everything with math is fun to learn. So I just choose the one that was obvious at the time that it would be important in the next years.
Okay. And now let's talk about our faculty.
Yeah.
How did you learn about the Faculty of Computer Science at HSC?
Yeah, so there was a colleague. I really liked theory of algorithmic information theory. I came in touch with a guy, Alexander Shen, who was important when launching our faculty. And so he said that, I was asking him to write reference letters, and I was applying everywhere. And then at some point he noticed I stopped applying because I thought, okay, I will become high school teacher. At some point I couldn't find a postdoc position anywhere. And then he says, but you are, so the fact there was nothing in the beginning of the faculty, so there was also no trust. And so the goal was find good people that have bad luck elsewhere. And that's how I was asked.
Mm-hmm. And what was your motivation to accept a job here, to accept a job offer here?
I decided I like learning things. And so if you're a professor, you're paid for learning things. So it was a very easy deal for me. And also, yeah, I played accordion. I only liked Russian music. So I did theoretical physics, so I knew all inventions were done, not all, but I mean, so there is a secret history in the West, or less well known in theoretical physics. So many things are named after American people were invented before by Russian scientists.
And how was your relocation and adaptation process in Russia? Was it difficult for you?
Integration and no, HSC is very nice to foreign people, so there were no problems. I mean, I'm all the time I'm working in my room. I don't go out so much. So what is there to adapt to? So if I'm studying here or in Belgium, it doesn't matter much.
Did you have any problems with the language?
Yeah, of course, I cannot learn Russian. So in September, I went to the Russian Language Center. And then it happened that my teacher was the director of the center, and she is now my girlfriend, and we have a child. But unfortunately, I'm bad advertisement for the Russian Language Center because I understand basic Russian, but like following seminars in Russian is difficult unless I already know the proofs. Then I can like match. So I understand maybe 1 in 3 words or something. So if I know what is told, then it's no problem.
So in your work, you usually use English, yes?
Yeah.
And what were your first impressions of Moscow?
You mean the city?
Yes, the city.
Well, nothing special. There are so many: Paris, London, Moscow. Not special. So 10 years ago, it was a bit more dirty than it is now. So, yeah.
And in your opinion, how does the academic and research environment in Russia differ from in Belgium?
Yeah. So great plus in Russia is students are very motivated and they have very good math education in high school, and they like problem solving skills. So there is some wisdom in Belgium that if you want to know whether PhD student will be successful, ask him about Olympiad scores. But in Belgium, nobody cares about Olympiad scores. But if I see my friends, we often remind each other, yeah, it's a secret if you want to know. But here, everything is, Olympiad scores are central. There are people who make a living of going around doing various Olympiads. So yeah, so better problem solving skills, it's a great thing. So another thing that's different is teachers don't have tenure track. And so I have the impression that there is a fraction of lazy teachers in Belgium. There's also a fraction of very good teachers. Yeah. So things are but it like okay, I am not a specialist, but I think that here is a very dynamic environment. So if something new interesting appears, there are always people in our faculty trying to study it. While in Belgium, I think it's more rigid. So the tenured people, they have a research group going for a long time with many people in the same direction, and then it can be for some time not relevant, and then maybe later it becomes relevant again. But and so by specializing for a long time, you can produce a lot of papers. So what I also noticed is during tenure track, there was my friends in Belgium, they have to write 5 papers at least, and then they write it to 6 every year. And here, when I came here, there was Radayev was vice rector, and he told us that number of papers is less important. The quality needs to be good. And so I don't know if this is still the philosophy, but it was nice to hear this. And so I asked them, so what do you prefer? So there are lists of papers for a list of journals for researchers, and so they say this journal is good and this not, and so I asked them straight away, you have this Q1 list and Q2 list, what do you prefer? One Q1 paper a year or 3 Q2 papers a year? And then he was very angry. He says, if you think like this, you don't I don't remember the precise words, but the message was, if you think like this, you don't belong here. And so it was very motivated. But yeah, I don't blame myself, because in Belgium everything was about these lists of papers. And I understand it's a powerful tool to motivate people to measure things, to distribute money, but at the level of motivation, it is indeed not so for tenure track, I think it's not so good if it's like all focused on this administrative requirement. So it should be like one of several things to check with yourself that everything is going well.
Mm-hmm. And one of your research results is related to optimal compression algorithms. And can you explain it in simple terms?
Yeah. So in it's a theoretical result, and so it has applications in unexpected places. So the question is, if there is a file, can you compress it fast? If you don't care about how long decompression takes. And so we presented positive answers. So you can so now I pushed it down till quadratic. No, sorry. What was my latest? Almost cubic time. So if you have a file of length n, then the compression time is almost n to the power 3.
In seconds or in minutes?
Well, so you measure the file in bits, so it's like 500 kilobyte, and then the time algorithm needs to compress is proportional to n to the power 3 times some logarithms. But the problem is that it's a constant factor in the front that's ridiculously big. But it's kind of like a theoretical model. The question is, so in theoretical computer science, there are theoretical models, and people wonder what is ideal algorithm according to the model, and can you prove that no better algorithm exists? And so the goal is not to be directly useful, but the goal is to maybe inspiration. So people who actually write compression algorithm, they might want to know about the ideas that give optimal result in various models.
And does anybody use your algorithm somewhere in practice?
No, not at all. So I know in computer science department it's a bit dangerous. So the engineer judges everything in terms of usefulness. But in mathematics, the goal is more to train the brain. It's like physical education in high school. So why is it useful, physical education in high school? So there is no direct use, but there is indirect use. There exist studies that say that there is less bullying if there is good physical education once a week in the high school. So it's kind of but there are more that people believe that the blood should pump, the heart should become strong, so that the brain gets more oxygen and it works better. So there is certain correlation between people who are in good shape and have good marks in high school. I didn't check for studies, but
Wow.
It was in each class there is there's also very fat people with a huge score, so it is just certain correlation. And so what is the causal influence? And so we see the same thing, like people who are good in inventing machine learning algorithms, they really like to do mathematics. So I got many regularly, some students come to me from machine learning specialization, and they say, please, I want to train my mathematics. Can you find me something that is like heavy in mathematics and has some link with machine learning? So, but by the way, I'm doing a research project there is Luzin Research Center in Moscow. Luzin is a promoter of Kolmogorov. So the guy who trained Andrei Kolmogorov, which is one of the best scientists best mathematicians that has ever lived, and so the research center is named after him, and so they are funded fully from industry, and so they want to hire our people in theoretical computer science lab. So that they have a lot of money, and they just say, yes, if you manage them right, people with mathematic background, they can come up with original ideas. So they can think about the problem in a more clean way, because in mathematics there are like we think a lot of is if there is an argument or an algorithm, how to split a problem in little parts, how to make a definition so that all the technical analysis becomes clean. And this is a skill that seems to transfer to practical use.
Are there any researchers whose work you're particularly interested in?
So I'm doing a lot of different things. Now, I have trouble remembering names. So I'm reading a nice book. Well, I read some years ago. So by Daniel Roberts, and so about theory for deep learning. So the book is called Deep Learning Theory. And I think that there is a whole field on the theory of deep learning that tries to reinvent what is already 3 years in this book. And so I wrote a paper 2 years ago, but I didn't have time to finish. So it is my problem. I have many unfinished projects. So I'm a bit ashamed. I should help with. So for me, administrative requirements are important because I have trouble to finish my papers. Okay, but I don't need to speak about my about this. So this is, and by the way, these are physicists, so they apply techniques of quantum field theory to analyze how information propagates through a very wide network. But okay, there is Avi Weiderson who got Abel Prize, and it's very important for theory. There is Vitani who writes a book about Kolmogorov complexity. Alexander Shen, which recommended me to come here. So Alexander Shen is a huge influence on me because he reminds me that if mathematics should be fun. And so also it's my promise that if it's no longer fun, then I will retire and do something useful. Like teaching high school. So I think that mathematics education in high school in Belgium is not focused on problem solving. And so people are unhappy about this. So students remember their education as useless and annoying. Their math education. I think it's a huge waste, and it's unacceptable. This problem needs to be solved, because anyone I know like to do logic. So anyone like to learn principles and then apply them in the real life. And so in mathematics education, you don't apply them in the real life, you apply them on other problems, but there is the fun of deriving solution, and it should be shared with high school students. And so now there is a focus on like repetitive procedures, even in university. So all the students have to solve differential equations with separation of variables. And why? So like Maple can do it already. It's a software package, can do it already 20 years. So why?
And why do you think it is important to develop theoretical foundations in fields like machine learning?
Okay, so in algorithms that work are not so difficult. And so it looks like, oh, you just need to learn them, but then there are still people who need to invent them. So it's like, there's the analogy of Vapnik, who is like the founder of statistical learning theory. He says that my job is to build violin, and for this I need to think in a certain way, and then I can. And the other people that break records on data sets and machine learning problems, they are specialized in learning how to play the violin. So short answer is that new ideas often come from theoretically trained people. But okay, there are also like a whole bunch of small questions, and so theoretical training helps to solve little technical problems and engineers overlook. And mathematicians, they can feel something is happening there. There must be a simple solution. But there are like so many questions on like I have a paper. So this compression algorithm I told you, so it's actually used for creating. So it no, not used, but there is application on creating hash tables. So on creating hash functions. Special like to store a data set. So you want to store a list of passwords that are already known in very small memories so that it can be accessed very fast. I mean, okay, in this example it's not so good because you don't need to know fast if your password is forbidden. But so that there are so there is application on one probe storage. Storage of sets, so that you can in parallel, just asking about one bit in the memory, know whether a whole string is in a predefined set. And so it's and so the algorithm allowed to have update. So these are known before, but our algorithm can be used to have this data structure have dynamically updated, and even updated almost in parallel. So yeah, so yeah, and even the parallel. So we can also modify it a little bit to have memory. So it becomes closer and closer. It's still a theoretical, useless model, but it's come closer to very practical questions. Okay, so maybe not. Convincing answer, because you're only convinced when it's actually inside the computer, but to have these original algorithms, there is a long pipeline between mathematical insight and eventual application. So okay, and so things that were very difficult 20 years ago now become easier. So there is kind of transmission line, and yeah, we don't know in advance which ideas will be eventually important for applications. So a huge success is cryptography, for example. So the people who study safety of certain hash functions for inversion, so they come up with the theory of creating a currency, and then there is crypto, and then people think what will happen if quantum computers come, and how can these be updated, and so it's probably far in the future, but okay. So this is theoretical. People think now about this. And so they say, oh, no, Bitcoin will not disappear if there exists quantum computer, because algorithm can be modified. Of course, it's a dangerous moment, and probably there will be a dip in value, but it's... yeah, so it's another example. Like cryptography was very important. So theoretical people play an important role in cryptography.
You told about future, and what do you think about the future and the artificial intelligence? Will it be smarter than people, for example?
Well, nobody doubts that it will be smarter than people. So the interesting question is, when will it happen? And so I checked some weeks ago, Sam Altman gave an interview where he says that now we have ChatGPT 03 or something, I think third version now, I forgot. Well, DeepSeek R3 is the current version, but I forgot. So, but yeah, you can pay for it like $200 a month to use this model. And he says so much better. And in I expect in 3 years, our models will be smarter than humans.
Wow.
So it's what he says, and so, but he is selling certain products, so he has incentive to make it faster. But there are other people like so what is Shan Leg? I was reading another interview. He says, I don't know, probably something like 10 years, because it's clear new algorithms are needed. And a lot of people, they always say 2035. Of course, we don't know. Like So in research now there is last few months, last year, let's say, yeah, last year. So there is very fast progress. So everyone knows about DeepSeek. So they managed to copy the model from OpenAI, but very small and very easy to train. And it means that everyone can not everyone. So yeah, I was checking the hardware coincidentally. So I will be involved in a math reasoning project, and so I was curious about hardware, and so I noticed that Apple has now a special GPU with 512 gigabyte for $10,000, and so it means that even the best model you can run, just deploy the model for $20,000 hardware by yourself. But it means it should be easy for little company and everyone can use the model. So like 780 billion parameters, they're the best model. So if you put a precision like 1 byte, then it fits on 2 GPUs. And if you want 2 byte, you need to pay for 4 of them. And so yeah, so there is interesting evolution, because it looks like once a person has one good model, it can be copied quite cheaply. So and so even some study says for $50 of electricity, you can extract certain knowledge in certain domain from the model by training a smaller model. And then extract from the big model the information. And so this gives explosion in research that started after DeepSeek published the research. And so NVIDIA share went down completely, because everyone thinks, oh, now it's so cheap to do this work that's routine work. But yeah, so I think this is misunderstanding, because if something becomes cheaper, the demand increases. And so now their technical obstacle disappeared. And so indeed what's happening after this moment is rapid innovation, where there is chain of thoughts technology, and then a graph of thoughts, a tree of thoughts. So where the model is used many times to generate part of solutions. And then there is some meta algorithm that kind of creates several thoughts in line, so kind of spider web of thoughts, and tries to find a solution to the problem by extending this web of thoughts. And for me it's very interesting, because that's how I feel I solve mathematical problems. So when the problem is really difficult, it feels like in my head I'm building a spider web with things that are possibly interesting, and then I try to find places and focus on certain things. So OpenAI, so people say it's still the best model. I forgot the version number, but many people try to reproduce, many companies like DeepSeek try to reproduce, and so they add reinforcement learning. So when they extract the model, they use reinforcement learning to tune in a specific way, so that it helps for this graph of thoughts. Well, there are so many blah 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 of thoughts and generalizations. So this was a great breakthrough, and so DeepSeek has now R3 model, which should be very powerful. And so it's nice, because there's kind of democratization. So so what is expensive is deploying this model. So it's a lot of computation just to evaluate one query of large language model. And these meta algorithms, they need thousands of queries to evaluate. And so it will be a question of electricity. Yeah, and so NVIDIA share is almost recovered. So so there was a question in October and November. The students told me they were worried that all professions will appear, and I said, I'm considering shorting. So that means speculating on decrease of NVIDIA share. So now, so there was a fast decrease after DeepSeek, but now it recovered. I guess, with recent progress. Yeah, but I don't I don't believe that in 3 years this progress will be so fast. So I still believe that there's a lot of things that the human mind, tricks that the human mind is using, and the researchers don't know yet how to do this. Also, I think the mind needs more computation to simulate human mind. So, but okay, computation goes, GPU price goes very fast, and there is rapid improvement. Okay, but yeah, so in 3 years seems unlikely to me. So there's always that. So let me speak about the history. So when 2012, there was news report announcement of Google that was self-driving car, and it drove 2 million kilometers in Australia and only 20 interventions. And so I was quite young, and also this will be terrible. In 2 years, everyone will have self-driving car. All truck drivers, taxi drivers will be out of job in just 2 years. It will be disaster. But even now, after all this progress in large language model, computer vision, nobody wants to drive in taxi without driver. So they do exist in pilot project, and nobody uses it. So like integration of technology and society, it's really slow. And yeah, there was .com bubble, like the huge stock market crash, because everyone was buying shares from internet company in 2003, because they say, oh, look, this nice technology. Of course, there are so many applications of the internet, and in a few years, all these companies will be really rich. And so their every internet company got a huge share price, until people realize, oh, internet is useless. We need so much more before it becomes useful. And so this is what I expect with AI. So it will happen, it will become very useful, but so maybe in laboratory some computer is more clever than a human in 10 years, but then there is still time before it comes to the society. So, but I really like this open source model, and that all research is for everyone available from the last month. So I hope this stays and there is nice progress.
And now I want to ask if more personal questions. What do you do in your free time?
Yeah. So I try to learn a bit about macroeconomy and then play on the stock market. So it's a very nice hobby to become rich, but my strategy is to learn something very well, and then it connects to the profession. So yeah, so I never played on NVIDIA, but I hope I can learn more about also Bitcoin miners. So I just bought a machine to mine some Bitcoin. Okay, so now I don't have many Bitcoins, but so in Belgium I so this is an important hobby now. So my father has like life project of building a house, but my father has some psychological problems, so he never finished it. And then after he died, I decided I will finish it. And I really like to build with my hands. And so now solar panels, they dropped crazy in price. And so I bought 200 square meters of solar panels, and so I will install Bitcoin miners. And because this ground is really convenient, so that it's 70 meters long and 10 meters wide, so it's very unpleasant, but it's in the direction of the south, so I can put all the panels directed to the south, and I have enormous amount of electricity, so I can run my own large language models and run the own Bitcoin miners. And so in April I was visiting Belgium, and I made myself a swimming pool. So I put the bricks and the cement, and so doing the physical work, I didn't know it was so pleasant. And so you work all day and you see the result of your work. So it's different compared to mathematics, where you think all day and then you have one-page proof. Yeah.
And one more question about science. What areas of research are you most interested in right now?
Right now, what I'm doing. So this morning I was learning all these things about large language model because I need to soon report to the company, but also I knew about this interview, this question. So I know that people are very worried about this. So yes, I was working on a paper on cryptography, and I'm also working on theory of reinforcement learning. So there is some connection. So a lot of work has connection with Kolmogorov complexity and theory of learning.
And maybe in some other spheres.
My work in other spheres.
No, maybe you're interested in some themes in other spheres.
Yeah, of course, yeah, but more amateur. So I was trained as a physicist, and so I like to learn about galaxy and the stars, and so well, I don't do anything. I just, when I'm tired, I watch YouTube. This Anton Petrov. He every day he releases an interesting movie, which is about micro biological life and about stars, and then he tries to combine on the question, is there life outside Earth? So he reports on all the papers that connect to the, but unfortunately no strong evidence yet that there is life outside the Earth.
And if you had an opportunity, would you like to go to space?
I never thought about this. Yeah, sorry, I did think about this. Yes, I will go.
Okay, maybe somebody will watch this video and...
Yeah, no, I mean, just go to low Earth orbit, I don't care, but like go to the moon, that's, yeah, that would be great.
Okay, and now we'll have a few quick questions. What book are you currently reading?
Yeah, I just finished reading a book which is The Evil in Each of Us. And so in Belgium, used to know a guy 30 years ago, and he is interested in research in collective violence. And since I know the guy, I bought the book and I read it. And so he is interested in the question, like, how can you in advance understand that certain society will start murdering subpopulation or other population systematically? And so what are feature of political system, but most important, the narrative, the needs, certain networks. And so there is interesting conclusion. One should look what's happening inside the camps with political prisoners. So what's happened to these people will later is likely to. So there is the gliding reference frame. So in little steps, things become more violent. And because it happens in little steps, people don't know. It's like the boiling frog analogy. And so there is many descriptions from many cultures on how this gliding happens. So it happens always a little bit differently. So the guy is now director of Hannah Arendt Institute, so she is Jewish, and she starts studying the Holocaust and comparing to other massacres. And so yes, so this book is about the patterns and the details and how to understand whether it will happen and when it will happen.
And what is your favorite movie?
Well, so yesterday evening I was tired, but I didn't want to sleep, and I asked Netflix for a movie, and so there were some recommendations, and one was Old Dads. So I'm a father of 3 children, and I'm 40. Oh, so
It's
it
okay.
changes my age. Yeah, my birthday was recently, so 43. Yeah, and and this movie. So they say it's about communication of Gen X, so people who are a bit older than me, and people between 20 and 30 years. But in the US culture, so there is certain things, and the problem is that the main guy, he always says what he thinks, and then he loses everything because he says what he thinks against the wrong people. And then I thought, okay, so but I didn't know that was the main guy, the main property. And so I understood that it was a warning sign for this interview. I should not say what I think. So there is in US there is no, I shouldn't. Okay, well, anyway, so there is some Belgian professor in Harvard, and he criticized Donald Trump, and then he was informed that his contract will not be renewed. So he was in visiting Belgium, and he talked to the administration. He said no chance, and they told him no chance. Your contract will be renewed. You can stay in Belgium, and because of criticizing Donald Trump. Okay, but here it's a very different situation. So I do not plan to criticize Donald Trump.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You told about your children. Do you want them to go to your sphere or maybe to the sphere of science?
Oh, well, if they want to go and become a scientist, I will be very happy, but I will not do what my parents did to me and push them in a direction.
What is your favorite city?
I don't care about cities, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
Ghent, let's say, where I was born. It's a very beautiful city and nice students. Yeah.
What is your favorite activity?
Yeah, so it used to be doing mathematics, but I was a bit overworked, so now I don't. So, but I think soon it will be mathematics and just anything that involves logic and figuring out answers from logic and try to apply.
What is your main personality trait?
So other people say I am very calm, but it's probably not the impression people here have because there are complaints I'm too emotional and so yeah. So people say that under pressure I can stay calm, but the problem is that there are certain things I find really important and nobody cares. So so it's difficult. So if somebody speaks about Kolmogorov complexity and it's not right, I become very emotional. Yeah.
And what is your favorite dish?
Oh, so these are much harder questions than the previous one. Yeah, I just eat everything with a lot of fat in it because I'm hungry usually. Yeah.
Do you like Russian traditional food?
Yeah, so what is it called again? Like on New Year, you eat with svekla and a lot of mayonnaise. I forgot the name. So
Mimosa? No.
no. Yeah, borscht I also like. Yeah, so with a lot of smetana. Every smetana. Yeah.
These three words, you told you know three words in Russian, so it's borscht, smetana.
No, it's not me. I know many more words in Russian, but not enough. But I do the best I can to learn Russian. But smetana, yes, it's great. I wish Russia exports smetana everywhere to the world.
Okay, and what is your idea of happiness?
Happiness. Well, it just I think everyone should have time to like do introspection. So just experience the own thoughts and let them flow and improve internal thinking. So it's So mathematics helps a little bit in this respect, because you try to solve a problem and then you look inside your own process and you see where you should think better. And so, yeah, so you should try to discover why I'm an idiot and then try to be less of an idiot. And so it's very important in mathematics, and it's usually embarrassing. So if reading my papers or Kotter's papers, they're like clever solutions and everyone misses them, and you can find them by looking inside yourself, and it's connected to being happy, in my opinion. So I don't know what is happiness. So I was tortured too much to when I was, well, I wasn't tortured, but just my learning disabilities make the life hard for me, and then so I don't, it's a difficult question for me, but I can tell that being relaxed and looking to your own thoughts, it's very pleasant and rewarding activity.
And what does teaching and doing research at the Faculty of Computer Science mean to you?
Yeah, so I'm very happy that I could do these jobs, because it makes me more clever, and especially students are very strong here, and so they function as a guard. So when I'm not thinking, I don't rely on memory much while teaching. So it means when I explain, I have to reinvent everything. Even if I've been teaching 5 times, I still forgot all the proofs. And so when I say, right, I remember the theorem because that's small information. And then I say, okay, now we prove the theorem. I said, damned, how does it go? I need to quickly find the proof. And if I'm not in good shape, I will start the wrong proof. And students immediately notice this and they put me on the right track. And so it's each time I'm surprised how clever students are, how immediately they find the mistakes when I make them. And yeah, in the beginning of the faculty, some other foreign people complain that students don't interact too much, but in my class, all the time they interact, because they know if they don't interact, I will tell them a false proof. Yeah. So now it's better. I make less mistakes, but okay, yeah.
So you study them, they study you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you for sharing us your experience.
Okay, thank you.